What is up, everybody? It is Alex from Heavy New York, calling from the quarantine zone again, and this time we are here with Martin of Headless. Great to be able to talk with you today, man. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, I'm very welcome.
Yeah, it's awesome to have you here. Are you currently out in Italy right now, where the band is from, or where are you at right now?
Not really. No. I'm the only one from the Netherlands. Uh, Joran, the singer, is from Sweden. Of course, the rest of the band is from Italy. This makes it difficult to sometimes to be together as a band. Last time we were together was end of June doing a video for a song called Misdirection. So this is basically the status we're at right now.
You need a member in North America or Australia. Spread it out even more.
We need one in any every continent would be nice, but
Hey,
then we wouldn't be able to play it.
hey, that could be a thing. That could be a future gimmick for a band one day.
Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, just make it 10 times more complicated. But it's great to be able to talk with you here. I want to thank you for giving us some new headlists to be able to wait out the rest of this time with. We got the new album Square One coming out in September. Being that this is the first headless
Right.
album in 5 years, did you just consider this picking up where you left off after Melt the Ice Away, or is this like a new era or a new beginning for headless?
Well, since I'm the new guy in the band, I can't really reflect on that too much. But I'd like to think, since I'm the new guy, this means that there's kind of a new page in the book. I knew the band from Melting the Ice was the album that I how I got to know them. Now it's basically up to a new lineup, so to speak. I'm the new bass player, and the music I think has changed, not dramatically, but I mean there's a few changes. I think they've gone a bit more proggy, and I basically up to the fans to decide if it's a new chapter or it's just a new album.
Mm-hmm.
I just happen to be there for the new as the new bass player.
Mm-hmm. Were being that you joined the band and this is your first edition with the band, did you like look at the previous albums, being like, "This is how I have to play," or were you kind of allowed to bring a little bit of your own mix into Headless?
They gave me a carte blanche as far as playing playing on the album. The thing was I got in right at the end of the songwriting process, so I got the songs basically ready for recordings, which meant that I mean, for me, it was didn't leave much room for improvement, so to speak. The songs were already done, and all I could do is like decorate the Christmas tree. It's kind of adding bits and pieces for me to find out what worked for the songs, and they basically gave me a blank canvas to write on. So that's a really cool process as far as I'm concerned. I'm used to, with my other band, 7 Miles to Pittsburgh. I write all the material together with two other guys, so I'm there from the get go. And this is new for me because I got to record the bass parts of completely new songs for me. And sometimes you have to get used to the song first, which I did. They sent me the songs, I think, halfway through 2020, and then I started recording them and then sending them the parts to see if they were satisfied, of course, and if this is what they were looking for, and I guess they were.
Well, what I find unique is being that you've played with other projects and then you have to, and then you joined up with Headless. Did you almost feel like you were almost relearning your instrument or discovering aspects of your instrumentation that you wouldn't have discovered otherwise?
Yeah. Pretty much for me, it was a new challenge. I've like I said, after being an Elegy, which was more of a challenge as far as musical, the difficulties in learning the songs. It was, going back to a band that I've been in for the last 5, 6 years, 7 Miles to Pittsburgh, was more of a straightforward rock band, less complicated, so to speak. But this was a lot more challenging for me to play these songs, and I kind of had to kick my get back into gear, so to speak, to learn these songs. So really challenging, but I like the songs and I like the way they turn out.
Do you feel that the singles that you so far are released off of this album are a good representation of what the entirety of Square One is going to sound like, or is there a lot more to be discovered on this album?
I think so. Yeah, there's a lot more. They don't stick to just one certain style, so it's not like if you hear one song or two songs that that you know what you're talking about. There's a couple of uh, you know heavier songs, more proggy songs. There's some more rock songs. All together, it makes for one complete album. But I think there's a lot more to the last single we put out, and basically this is the choice of the record company, which songs they wanted to do as far as video. Last song is an ACDC tribute, more or less. We recorded a version of Two's Up, and in also we changed some parts to make it fit the Headless style, and it worked. The next song that's going to come out is Misdirection. It's going to be released next month, which is actually an old school video where we actually pretend to play our instruments live, so to speak, but you can actually see us in the band instead of the lyric videos, which are a very good tool for us to bring the music out there. But of course, I can imagine that people really want to see who's in the band, who's doing what, and being able to identify with what band members are actually making that noise.
Yeah, I remember I was present for a couple of music videos, and they're always so awkward watching people like lip sing or pretend to play. Like, part of me wonders, like, are you playing exactly the notes that are played on the song, or are you just completely winging it?
I actually relearned the song because I didn't want to. There's always people who see the song, see your position on the fretboard, and say, "Hey, they're not playing that note." So we wanted to be accurate as far as what we were playing. And the funny thing is about doing a video and having the audio come through speakers. You don't really, all you hear at the end is the drums, because the only things you can't really, there's not a volume knob on cymbals or drums. So in the end, you have to turn the music really loud in order to not be stuck with just a drummer in the back. But so what I did was I learned the songs, and this is the way I learn the song, so that I don't have any problems live. If anything happens live, I learn the songs by just listening to the drums and my own parts. So for me, it was easy, but it's always better to have that background noise with actually the song playing behind you, which you're supposed to be playing yourself. But it's difficult for a singer if you have to do this, if you have to do a video clip, and you actually have to sing 20 times in a row. You're not going to do that if you don't have a good microphone and a back line and a PA. Yeah. So I imagine that it was a lot more difficult for Joran to do this video than for us. But it's strange, you're basically doing playback to a song, but it's part of the job, and you have to make it come across as real as it is.
Yeah, and on average, if you had to say, how many times are you listening to the song through the course of making that music video?
I think altogether we spend about 7 or 8 hours filming, but it's just because there was the musical or the video director made sure there's shots with drones, there's shots on different locations, there's individual shots, and there's individual shots with the drone, there's individual shots, and and it's imagine at the end of the day, the song, you've played it so many times, even if you hadn't rehearsed it. At the end of the day, after 8 hours, you can play that song with your eyes closed. But it takes a long time if you want to get want to get the lighting right, you want to get the shots right. So it takes a day to do a good video.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it takes longer, and I've always, and I have a hobby of watching the music videos and then watching them play it live, and just to see how accurate they're playing it as according to the music video.
I can imagine. Yeah, I mean, in the past there's been videos where people, you know, uh, throw the guitars around their backs, and there's no way they can play that while guitars are in the air. Or Ingrid Malmsteen would always just throw his guitar around in a video. He said there's no way he can play all those chords, but it looks cool. It's the only chance, the opportunity you get is to do this is in a video. Just jump around and do whatever, because when you're playing live and you have to make sure you're playing the right notes, it's a different thing.
Yeah, I wonder how Slipknot does their videos with 9 members having to do so many, individual
Yeah.
shots and all that. That probably takes weeks.
Talking about Slipknot, you still have
Oh, hell yeah.
the signed the signed poster from way back, and sadly some of the members have already passed away, which makes it even more special. This is my son's. Look around. These are the basses that I've been playing for many, many years now.
Wow.
There's some, but this is the music room that we're in right now. So, but Slipknot, yeah, I can imagine it's. But they have the budget, so they can do it. I don't think they have. They always make it look fun on stage, so the video should be even more fun.
I know all their music videos are epic. Um, Now, in terms of like for your bass playing, because I've always thought that bass playing was such an important instrument, and I know in rock and roll people like to, make fun of bass players, which I think is cruel. But being that,
Why not?
I mean, I could,
You know,
yeah,
we as bass players always make fun of the rest of the band.
yeah.
That's our excuse.
Well, you know what? They say that bass players couldn't get any girls, but just remember this: Lemmy and Peter Steele. That's all you have to say.
That's right.
Yeah.
Damn right.
Yeah. But do you prefer to like have music already present? You mentioned the songwriting for this Headless album, but like, do you always prefer to have music before you start tracking bass parts, or do you sometimes have like a whole bass pattern written that could influence the entirety of a song?
There are songs that I write when I start out with a bass pattern, exactly. But most of the songwriting, you want to have some, you want to have, before you start recording, you want to have some structure. You want to have drums and bass and a melody. As far as whether it's guitars, of course, in our business, and you know, I started writing some songs now for the next Headless, and they're usually based on the guitar parts. So that's what I mean. How many songs can you write just on based on a drums and bass? It's kind of difficult. You always want to add that melody, always. And
Yeah.
that's why I don't only play bass. I play some guitar also, and that's the basis for most of my songs start out acoustically.
Oh wow.
Start out with it. Yeah, yeah, just on this acoustic guitar right here. So it's that's probably what the guy from Chic would call his hit maker or something. The guitar is always the basis for. You want to start out with a melody, and sometimes the melody starts out on a bass, but you have to. The bass itself, I don't find uh, suitable. Just the bass line. There's not many, whether just thinking about how many known bass lines could actually become a song. Well, Queen has, of course, Under Pressure, and there's a few. I mean, you could probably start a song on a bass line, but I usually don't start out that way.
They're
Usually guitars.
they're great. They're great bass lines in like a lot of punk rock and hardcore. I've noticed because that's
Oh
such
yeah,
a
yeah, yeah.
rhythm driven, groove oriented sound. So
Look at Ace of Spades. Motorhead starts out with that
yeah,
incredible. It's almost a rhythm guitar though with Lemmy, but
yeah,
it's definitely and it starts. Some start, Sweet Emotion from Aerosmith starts out the bass, and that's exactly right. At that point, you know exactly what song is playing.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
this is a lot from Van Halen. Starts out with a bass part, but it
well,
doesn't become a song until the guitars are added.
well, if you want to see an amazing bass player, and I don't know if it's necessarily your cup of tea style wise, but there's a technical death metal band called Archspire, and their bass player, I'm not even kidding. I've never seen anything like it. He's doing hammer-ons on the bass. It's like he
No,
plays that bass as if it's a third guitar, and like I believe he plays a six-string bass too. So it's
all right.
he's doing these hammer-ons, he's doing strums, he's doing chord progressions. It holds
I've
the rhythm so
yeah,
well, but he's delivering his own melodies and his own solos with it. It's insane.
yeah. I've seen some pretty insane bass players over the years. I was in at NAM in LA early 2020,
I was there.
and in January. Yeah, and I mean, I've seen some incredible bass players that you've never heard of, and you may probably never hear from again. But they definitely have the chops. There's definitely a whole new generation of sometimes you see these 10-year-olds, playing incredible bass lines or playing drums. I mean, it, there's some hope for the future, at least for a lot of these kids start out playing the drums or the guitars, and they're get totally into it. I mean, when we started out, I was like 15, 16. I started out because I heard Eddie Van Halen, and at that point, all my friends, everybody wanted to be Eddie Van Halen. And now they start out listening to very technical stuff, whether it's Dream Theater, or it's something that appeals more to the kids, like August Burns Red, and it's very technical stuff, and they want to learn that, and they start out a lot younger than when we were young, when we started playing.
Yeah.
And of course, the level of musicianship, like you said, there's some death metal bands out there that have incredible musicians in the band.
Yeah, it's insane. Like especially like again, I think technical death metal just and I've always said that the technical death metal movement or the progressive death metal movement is basically the ultimate genre that signifies the bass player revenge. So
Well, yeah, you could say that. The only thing with this the technical death metal, and there's some exceptions. Sometimes vocals just get me off a little bit, because there's only so much you can do with grunting, and I'm a big fan of bands like Opeth, and just because they went from just that one genre of death metal with grunts, and for me they've turned more into a progressive band than just the death metal part. And I think it's kind of difficult to make it interesting if the music is sometimes so complicated and so precise and so perfect that it's sometimes difficult for somebody to put their style of singing into it, and then sometimes it turns into just the yelling and the grunting that doesn't appeal to me too much.
yeah, fair enough.
But definitely, yeah, definitely wonderful musician. The drummers are usually insane in those type of bands. The drummers, the bass player, the guitar. I mean, my son listens to bands like August Burns Red, and there's a whole bunch of can't even remember the
Your
name.
son has good
August Burns
taste.
Red.
That's my
Yeah,
generation.
yeah. I mean, and just take for example August Burns Red. It's just insane. The drummer, Matt Grinder is his name. Matt Grinder.
Yeah.
Amazing. Guitar players are amazing. The bass players good.
Yeah.
I saw them live; they blew me away. But it's not my type of music. But I definitely recognize that the kids that it appeals to a certain audience.
Definitely. And the final
Yeah.
question I wanted to ask you is being that you mentioned that you already started the songwriting process for a follow up to Square One, you already started writing some stuff. So, could Square One serve as a good representation of the direction that Headless is going to go into from here on out?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, but I'd also like to think that every new album that you record is shows a new part of your songwriting. you don't want to be stuck in that same, that same frame the whole time. You want to at least improve your playing, and at least also improve your songwriting. And I'm pretty sure that if you like Square One, I know that the people that heard Square One so far seem to compare it to Melting the Ice Away, which I think there's definitely, because of the singers is such a big part of the whole music. I think people, it's a very recognizable sound that they've created, and I just want to add to that. And I think hopefully the next album will be, the best album that you've never heard before. Like every musician claims to that their new album is going to be. But this is, you always want to improve, and I'd be disappointed if people say it's just like the last album, because then you haven't really improved much.
Yeah, definitely. So before we go, I want to thank you so much for your time today. Great to be able to nerd out.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Is there
Yeah,
just anything else with the
I'm
release of Square One you would like to promote? Obviously, with this fucking virus that shall not be named, obviously things are kind of up in the air, but obviously when everything is all clear, we'll be seeing Headless on the road quite a bit, right?
I would certainly hope so. I mean, like you said, they're crazy times. Hopefully, there's better times ahead. All we can hope for, and the powers that be. We're not. If it probably was up to you and me, we'd already be playing gigs and everything. I mean, half of Europe is still in lockdown, and every week is changing. I hear my favorite bands in the US are already playing in full stadiums and playing on festivals. This at the moment in the Netherlands is unthinkable. So when is it going to change? I have no idea. I mean, and till everything opens again, I guess we'll just have to continue songwriting and putting out new albums.
Yeah.
What else are we going to do?
This is going to be the era. Yeah. When touring happens, you guys are going to have to do a set list of just like promoting like 3 new albums at the same time.
Exactly. I mean, and once this whole thing is over, I think there's going to be a shitload of albums released by many bands, because it's going to be crazy. Once it starts opening again, everybody wants to go out on the road again, and I mean, so many tours have been canceled, so many festivals in Europe have been canceled. At one point, all these people want to go out on the road again. The audience want to see people play again, and they deserve to see the bands play again. And crazy times, but hopefully good times coming up.
Yeah, definitely. But thank you so much, Martin. Everybody, we are here with Martin of Headless. Be sure to check out Square One. This is Alex from Heavy New York, and we will see you next time.